Mark had hiked the same trail for years. It was quiet, reliable, just far enough from the city to feel untouched. That morning, the forest was exactly as he expected. Cool air, birds singing, the steady rhythm of boots against dirt. But halfway through the loop, something unusual caught his eye. A narrow path branched off the main trail, almost invisible beneath the brush. It didn't look recent. In fact, it barely looked like a path at all, just a soft impression in the trees, as if something had been dragged through once and never returned. Mark checked his map. There was nothing marked there. The path wound tightly through the woods until it opened abruptly into a clearing. The space was unnaturally circular, the grass brittle and pressed flat. There was no movement. At the center of the clearing sat a large steel hatch, half buried and rusting at the edges, with a heavy handle fixed in the middle. Mark approached slowly. The metal was warm to the touch, almost as if something below had been generating heat. He pulled it open, and the hinges let out a low groan that vanished too quickly into the stillness. Below, a ladder disappeared into shadow. He lowered himself down into the dark. The shaft was deep, lined with concrete slick from moisture. Overhead, old fluorescent lights blinked on life one by one, casting a dull, flickering glow across the walls. Everything smelled like rust and standing water. He walked forward carefully. Rusted doors flanked either side of the corridor, each sealed shut. Some looked warped. Others were marked with faded stencils in letters he didn't recognize. And beneath it all, the space hummed not from any working machine, but with the sense that it was aware of him. The sound came gradually. A dragging noise, wet and steady, echoing just far enough ahead that it was impossible to place. Mark stopped walking. The sound stopped too. He stood still, listening, until he realized something else was breathing. Far down the hall, past the reach of the last flickering light, something moved. It wasn't sudden. It didn't rush him. It simply stepped into the edge of view, tall and misshapen. Its limbs looked unfinished, like they hadn't quite learned how to be human. It didn't make a sound. Mark turned and ran. But the hallway behind him didn't match what he remembered. The ladder was gone. The hatch was sealed. As he stumbled through the dark, the lights above began to fail, one by one, each blink extinguishing more of the space around him. Its eyes were the last thing he saw, glowing faintly, without warmth, without reflection, just cold recognition as it began to move forward again.